Okay, so we have some scraps and we're going to go ahead and make snippets today for our junk journals. So I just got out a handful of my scraps and I'm going to take a pair of scissors and we're going to cut them up and we're going to make some snippet rolls. I use these on our snippet roll. We're just tearing and we're cutting and we're putting them into smaller pieces so we can create a snippet roll. And like this piece is longer here. Sorry about that. This piece is longer here. So we're probably going to keep that, put that aside for our ruffles. But all of our odd size pieces, we're going to go ahead and trim down to smaller pieces for snippet rolls. And we can also take our scrap pile over to our cutting board and just start throwing this under and trimming it up to make smaller pieces for our snippets. And again, we're just looking for pieces to put different varying sizes and create that snippet roll. And as you can see, any size will do, and we're going to have a lot of fun creating this. And we're just cutting up our scraps into smaller pieces. These pieces I might be able to get a 4-inch square out of, but instead of making a scrappy quilt, I am in the mood to journal, and so we are going to make snippets for our junk journals. And again, just any old size, and we're going to throw it under the sewing machine. See, this was, I believe, a neck out of some aprons. And if my cutter even wants to cut anymore, need myself a new blade, we'll get that before we work on a real project. Now, we're simply having fun with different sizes for our snippet rolls. Okay, so what do we need to make our snippet roll? We need scraps of various sizes. I like to use some longer pieces of scraps. And then, of course, scissors. And it's nice to have a sewing machine. So let's get to it. We are first going to put one of our longer pieces under the sewing machine. And we will start with just a piece here. We're going to hold our thread in the back, make a stitch forward, a stitch back. Okay, and we're going to have alternating pieces that we're just going to throw under here, whether we scrunch them up or have them whole. And we've got our length of fabric coming out. And we're just going to keep grabbing little pieces and putting them under our needle. And we get to longer pieces that we haven't cut up. Very easy. Handy dandy scissors. We're going to push those under our foot, lock them in, push them under our foot, lock them in. Now we can make these flat or more of a ruffle. This tutorial, we're going to make them more of a ruffle, and we're using all of our scraps. And the great thing about this is we can make it as large or as small as we want for our individual pages. And we can keep on this forever and keep adding to it. And we can set it aside until we are ready to do our journal, make our journal. So it's not necessary to do right away. It's fun when you have scraps. Go ahead, make yourself a snippet roll, and then set it aside for when you are ready to put it in your journal. You then don't have to create one real fast to fill that void in the page. And I apologize for my hand. It's just hard to create this without getting my hand in the way for you to see. But this is going to be pretty exciting. And we just keep adding piece after piece after piece. We can fold them, we can roll them, we can ruffle them as we go to create that beautiful look that we want and that beautiful texture that we want for our junk journal. Wherever we want to add more once we're done, we can. And we can trim it to whatever size we're looking for. I'm going to throw in a color over here and there just to pull in any other color I decide to do on the page. And of course, when you make a lot of these with all your different scraps, you're going to have enough to choose from. So you can decide which ones you want where in what journal. And that's the great thing about making these ahead of time. You have different pieces that you can audition for that page. But again, it's all about texture. It's all about appeal to you when you're doing your journaling. And we want this to look. All right, so let's pull this out, pull our needle up, foot up, pull it out, see what we think. And so far, oh my goodness, I'm actually loving this more than I thought I was. Okay, so let's pull it so you can see it a little bit better. And then we're going to twist it around and show you. Okay, so this is the first snippet roll we just took off the sewing machine. So we've got some brighter, bolder colors in there with some browns and yellows. And I think we can have a great page with those. And again, on the back, I have it on the loosest stitch setting. And I've just gone forward and back in the beginning and the end. And we have locked all those pieces down on that back piece. And now we can put it on any page or pocket that we like in our journal. Loving it. Okay, so let's make another snippet roll. And I have some purple here that's a little too thin, but it's long enough. We're going to go ahead and use as our snippet roll backbone. So we're going to put it down, And it does disappear with our pieces that we put on top of it, but that's okay. And we're just going to start laying a motley arrangement of pieces on this. And then we're going to put it under our needle. Hold our threads in the back. Forward, back, lock that stitch. And then we're just going to go ahead and go forward with our pieces. Let's put that down. Put that up. Another little pop of color on top. Again, you can make this as thick or as thin as you like. Just want to make sure you capture each piece under that needle. It's going to add a different texture, a different appeal to that junk journal page that you're putting on. So we want to, we can even put large pieces on like this, because we're going to come through and trim it based on what we want on that page that we decide to finally affix it onto. So it's okay whether we want it flat like this or round. We just grab our pieces, we throw them on, sew them down, lock stitch it at the end. We can audition our pieces or just throw them up there and keep going. Oh, look at that, a white one. And again, these are scraps from any sewing project that you have. Go in a little purple in there. Let's throw a little purple in there. And if you decide that that page has more color, more pop in it, that you need to add color, you can pop this right back under the sewing machine. Just add some of the colors that you're looking to get off of that project or out of that project. And sew them right down. And again, I like to make these ahead of time. That way I can pull out my bin full of them and pull out the pieces that I think would have the right color and texture to go. And a lot of times if I've been working with a project with ribbons and lace, I will throw some of those ribbons and lace right on the sewing machine as well and lock them in, because I think the more different frou-frou colors that you have, the different angles, the different pieces, it makes that page that much more attractive and really makes it pop. And even though we have a yellow, I'm going to put a yellow on top of it because, again, it's not just about color, it's about texture. And when you're doing this, you might want to set your needle to down. Mine seems to be up every time I want to lift the foot. I think I want a little more purple in here as we go. And I'm just trying to make sure that is also stitching directly onto that piece that I have on the bottom. When you have a piece that you know is too large, go ahead and grab those scissors, cut it off. But you can always do the trimming later. It's not necessary to do at this step. And we're going to see what this flat snippet looks like in just a moment. I haven't used any of that, I don't think, yet. So let's mute it down with some browns so it just sticks out a little bit. Look at that long piece of yellow. Why not? Let's pull some more yellow, another brown. Let's get a pink to tie in the end. Actually, I want right up there with the needle a little more pop. Let's put that under there. Needle. And then we're going to back. Okay, so we are done. Let's pull that out, trim it, and see what we have here. And see, on the back we used that piece. We did get the thread there. And then we're going to turn it right side up. And again, we can change this and add to it. This is a little thin here. I might go ahead and add a piece. Oh, I love that spot. Okay, and let's lay that down, see what we really think. Okay, and here is that snippet I just took out of the sewing machine. I have to tell you, I like it maybe a little bit more when I ruffle it, but a lot of people like it flat. So let's take a look at both of them together and let me know what you think. And we have the flat snippet and the ruffled snippet next to each other. And again, it is as easy as that. You do it just by taking all of your scraps, grabbing a handful, trimming them smaller, putting them on a longer piece of selvage or a longer scrap, and then just keep adding as long as you like it in what colors that you like best for the project that you're working on. Or better yet, make a bunch of these out of each tone and color that you have leftover scraps for. And that way, when you sit down to do your journal, make your homemade, handmade journal, you've got everything you need. Snippet rolls. Love them. Okay, and I have a empty spool that had ribbon on it. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my snippet rolls. And I'm going to take and I'm going to start just rolling it around here. And this is how you can decide if you'd like to store and put each color together. And then you can put a rubber band on top, a needle to hold it, and you can take all similar and just keep wrapping them around themselves. And that's a great way to store your snippet rolls with a needle right in the end.